guys, this is Jake Stone. I'm out here at Skyline MX Park in Kuna, Idaho, and finally got my hands on the anticipated 2021 CRF450. I'm not going to go over any of the details because I'm sure everybody by now has seen all the changes to this bike. It's completely brand new. So today, just as a natural-born citizen of the U.S., I'm going to go take this off the showroom floor, go ride it, test it, make maybe a few adjustments, see how we like it, and just give you guys kind of an overall review. I'm about 5'11", 170 pounds, obviously more with gear on, so I should be able to give you guys a pretty good idea of what this bike feels like and whether you should go pick one up or not. So yeah, let's go spin some laps. Alright guys, just got done spinning a few laps on this new 2021 CRF450. Overall it is a lot different from the 20. The frame feels a lot softer overall. For me, I haven't made any adjustments to the suspension yet. I would speed up the front rebound. It's pretty chattery for me coming into the corners on some of the high-speed sections. And then the rear likes to break away coming out of the corner, so I'd almost slow down the rear a little bit. Suspension's a little soft, but overall it's a great bike. Not impressed with the engine. There's a lot of cutting out coming out of the bottom end and in the middle of the range, kind of second to third gear. I tried all the maps. Honestly, it didn't really change a whole lot. Alright guys, I took this video back to my office because it got super windy out at the track and you couldn't hear anything. So I apologize for the beginning of the video because you couldn't hear crap either then. So when I left off, I was talking about the engine of the bike. I didn't really care for it. The mappings didn't help a whole lot, honestly. The third map cleaned it up maybe just a hair, but it still had that weird hesitation, like the bike was almost carbureted, I guess. So just to give you kind of the best idea, but really all the third map did, the fast map, made it faster with still the issue of it cutting out or bogging, kind of rolling out of the corners, and even coming up to some of the faces of the jumps, even going faster when you're on the throttle. It's still had a weird bog to it. I'm not really sure. I bet they'll fix that kind of later on or come up with a new mapping. I know a lot of people have messed with the mapping, but I don't have the ability to play with that or know how, so kind of just picking this thing off the showroom floor. I'm not very impressed with the motor. Really impressed with the clutch. The clutch, I actually forgot it was hydraulic and didn't even really think about it till like lap 5 or 6. So they did a really good job there. The ergonomics of the bike are very different. They actually feel a lot similar to my Kawi that I had, which is the 2019, the new updated Kawasaki, the 450. Feels really narrow, feels really playful and light on the bike when you're on the track. So hitting jumps and stuff, the bike feels really light, so you definitely notice that weight loss. As far as the reaction of the bike, I personally don't like the setup of the handlebars and a few other things that I would swap over. So it's not really set up for me, but it honestly reacts very similar to the 2020. I don't notice a whole lot of difference once I got comfortable. It handles really well. It's really choppy for me. I didn't make really any adjustments today because it's my dad's bike, so he's going to be making adjustments for his riding style. He's a lot shorter than I am, so the way he sets his bike up is going to be a lot different than what I'm going to set it up at. But I mean, for me, I would change the bend of the handlebars. I would speed up the rebound quite a bit in the front, maybe slow it down in the rear, maybe go a little bit stiffer spring on the front because the fork is kind of soft. And that was just with a couple hours on the bike, barely breaking it in today. The track that we rode today is actually kind of fast, and it gets a lot of chop, like harsh chop kind of coming into the turns, some of the faster turns. So it was actually really choppy for me. And then the rear felt like the traction was amazing today on my 2020 that I have set up pretty well for me. Didn't break away coming out of the corners or anything at all. And then this bike coming out of some of the turns where the berms or the ruts would disappear, even weighting the crap out of the outside peg, the rear would just kind of want to bounce out for whatever reason. So I think that might be a rebound issue. The cockpit to me felt really small, so not a lot of movement was needed to go from, I guess, kind of balanced over the pegs back to the front for when you're turning. The bike turned really well, so I actually found myself just sitting neutral on the bike through the corners, so not really scooting up on the bike at all, which is kind of how I ride my 2020, but maybe it's just the way I have my handlebars and stuff set up to where the 2020 feels like there's a lot more movement back and forth to kind of gain comfort, whereas this was like coming into some of those turns, I didn't feel like I had a lot of movement to get away from the handlebars to kind of smooth out coming into the corners, and then the forks were just diving and basically packing through all that chop. But maybe I'll get to ride it again on a different track and we can do some different setup stuff. But overall, it's a really good. The frame feels a little bit softer, so some of that chatter I could feel going away, whereas on my bike before the 2020 it was kind of harsh on some of those chattery tracks. But a lot of the tracks are soft around here, so we get a lot of big rolling bumps rather than that really close sharp braking bump chatter. So overall, super fun bike, and just not impressed with the motor, but would definitely recommend getting one and just trying it out. I'm sure 2022 will be a whole different bike, or at least a whole different motor, and they'll probably tweak some things to make it better. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry for the wind and sound, and didn't do a lot of filming on the bike because of how cold it was today. So, but I'm sure we'll get some more chances to do some more stuff with it here in the next few